Have you ever wondered how big one tile actually is? Have you ever wondered how many people are really in your city, Skyline City? Well, today I've done all the math and I'm going to explain, or at least try, why all these metrics are what they are, and try to explain some of the rationale behind them. So all of my sources that I used for this are down in the description below. They include Reddit, there's tons of different wikis and stuff like that, and as well as the timestamps for each section, so if you don't want to watch the entire video, you can just go down there and pick which section you want to watch. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So topic number one is the one everyone probably knows about already, so I'm going to try to get it out of the way as quick as possible. If we look at our chalkboard over here, we can see that this is the scaling of roads and tiles. So 1 unit in City Skylines equals 8 meters, right? Everyone probably knows that already. Now one square of zoning that you see is basically 8 by 8 meters, or 64 square meters, okay? The largest lot size you can get to zone something is 4 squares by 4 squares. So if we do 4 times 4, that's 16 squares, and so if we have 4 times 8 on each side, that's 32, then 32 times 32 is going to be our two sides, so 32 times 32 is going to be 1024 square meters. So the largest lot size you can get is 1024 square meters, and that converts to about 0.001 square kilometers, or about a quarter acre, which is a reasonable sized lot for like a house. An office building, I'm not so sure, but like a house, generally a quarter acre is a decent amount of land actually. Now, if we go out to a tile, one tile is 240 units by 240 units. So, if we do 240 times 240, that's going to be 57,600 squares. So, that's a lot of squares. You obviously aren't going to be able to zone all those squares because you need roads for zoning, but that's still a lot of squares. Now, if we want to see how big this is in real life, we have to do 240 times 8, which gives us 1920 meters by 1920 meters. So, that gives us 3,686,400 square meters per tile. Now, if we convert that to kilometers, that's 1.92 kilometers by 1.92 kilometers. Now, if we want to convert this over to miles, it's about 1.19 miles by 1.19 miles, or 6,300 feet by 6,300 feet. If we do that, 1.19 times 1.19 is about 1.4237 square miles, or 39,690,000 square feet per tile, which is quite a bit actually. 1.4237 square miles is about 800-ish acres or 900 acres, which is a lot of land. That is a lot of land. If we zoom out even further, then we get to the map, which is 9 tiles by 9 tiles. Now we already know that one tile is 240 units long. So if we do 240 times 9, that's 2,160 units. So that means the entire map is 2,160 by 2,160 units. That is 4,665,600 squares of zoning on the map, if you can get all that zoning in place, but you can't because of topography. Remember, respect the topography. Now, if we want to convert this into real life, we do 2,160 times 8, which gives us 17,280 meters. So the map is 17,280 meters by 17,280 meters. That is 298,598,400 meters squared, or 298.5984 square kilometers. If we convert that into miles, that's 10.74 miles by 10.74 miles, or 56,700 feet by 56,700 feet. That gives us 3,214,890,000 square feet, or 115.3183 square miles, or 73,822.464 acres. That is a lot of land. I don't know, I didn't do that much research for this video, but that I would assume that's about the size of maybe New York City? I don't know, okay? Don't quote me. Let's move on to the next topic. everybody's favorite thing, money. So there's a lot of confusion over what the currency is actually called in City Skylines. I've heard anything from, you know, cash money moolahs to, you know, dollars, cents, monkey. I've heard monkeys. I've heard just cash, monies. Credits, tea leaves, really, Biffa? But the official name for it, according to the fandom wiki page linked down below, the official name for the City Skylines currency is the Cell. Kind of a weird name, but oh well. Now, when I tried to convert this into real life, I tried to like see what this converted to in real life currency. I found nothing. Basically, I looked everywhere. I looked on Reddit, I looked on the dev vlogs, the dev blogs, I looked on the Steam Workshop pages, I looked on the official Steam page. I could find nothing, but on Reddit, a few different answers I found. Listen to this. I found one cell equals 10 euros. Okay, reasonable. I found one cell equals $100. Okay, it's starting to get a bit, you know, iffy here. I found one cell equals 2,000 euros or 1,750 euros. Basically, what I'm trying to say is there really isn't a real-life conversion for the City Skylines cell. However, this doesn't really matter because everything in City Skylines is so underpriced and undervalued anyway that having it be a real-life equivalent really wouldn't make sense. It would just make it, you know, even more out of whack and even more mind-boggling, and not in a good way. Now, we move on to every American's favorite thing, taxes. So, basically, in City Skylines, you can drag the taxes for each of the 6 zoning types from 1% to 29%. Now, you might be asking yourself, and I was too, well, 1 to 29% of what? And that is a very good question. I could not find a single answer for it. I looked everywhere. Nobody seems to know what this percent is a percentage of. I don't know, you know, if you want the answer, go ask Colossal. I don't got it. Some of the things we do know, however, are higher taxes decrease demand, lower taxes increase demand, and we also know about taxation policies. So there's different taxation policies where you can like raise say you want to raise the taxes of high density residential by 5%. I think that's what it is in the taxation policy. I'll put it in the editing, but I think it's 5%. So that 5% is not it's not raising it by 5%. Like if you have your high density residential set to 12% taxes, it's not going to raise it to 17. It's going to raise it by 5% of what that 12% already is. So don't get excited. But also, we do know that the point where most citizens start to get angry about taxes is around 13-14%. That's about the max limit. So why they made it go all the way up to 29, I have no idea. But we also know that as your total cash increases, your tax income decreases. I'm guessing that's a way of them balancing out the game so that when you get to like 600,000 population, you're not earning like $1 billion in taxes. So I can see why they did that, but you know, it's not very realistic at all. Now, as for how the tax AI actually works and how it decides what people get charged what tax at what level, I don't know. I could find zero information. If you do know any information on how the tax AI works in City Skylines, please let me know down in the comments because I would really like to know. And if I get enough information, I might do a video about it in the future. Now, we move on to something that most Americans are very bad at, budget. So, if we look at this graph over here, we can see that the graph is not linear. Now, this graph represents service level in relation to budget. So, as you can see, it's kind of like an S curve. So, the way that works is there's actually 2 equations for how service level works. And when I say service level, I mean capacity of things like students or visitors. I mean capacity for vehicles, range, things like that. So service level, we're going to keep it as a percentage. So there's two variables that we're going to use. We're going to use L, which is going to be service level, and we're going to use B, which is going to be budget. They're both going to be percentages. Now, the equation for if your budget is less than 100%, if your budget is less than 100%, then L, the service level, is going to be equal to B over 10 squared. So, let's fact check ourselves, obviously. If we want, say we have 50% budget, 50 divided by 10 is 5. 5 squared is 25. That means if you have 50% budget, you're only getting 25% effectiveness, which means you're literally wasting half your money. Then if we go to if it's higher than 100%, if your budget is higher than 100%, then L is going to be equal to 3B minus B over 10 squared minus 100. So, again, let's fact check ourselves. If we have 150% budget, then 3 times 150 is 450. B over 10 is 150 over 10, which is 15. 15 squared is 225. Then 3B is 450, so 450 minus 225 equals 225. 225 minus 100 equals 125. So, it's basically the same thing both ways. It's 25% if your budget is 50%, and if your budget is 150%, then it's 125%. So, again, if your budget is 150%, you're wasting 25% of that money, or 50% of that extra money that you're spending. So, the only reason I could really see logically for doing this is if you're trying to turn it down to save money and you have a massive excess. Like, I mean a massive excess. So, 50% budget does not equal 50% service level. So, really, it's best to keep your budgets around 100% unless you really have to. Now, we move on to the not final, but almost final topic, time. This one was my favorite to research by far. It's really interesting, okay, guys? So strap in. Basically, also, keep in mind, disclaimer. Everything I'm about to say right now is not official. It's my personal calculations based on speculation and speculation alone, and also math, but this is not official information. Do not hold me accountable for this, and don't sue me. Thank you, let's move on. Now, bear with me because I'm going to talk really fast. So, there's two different types of time in City Skylines. There's simulation time, which is the amount of time you're actually sitting there at your computer. It's basically used to calculate the speed of vehicles, the speed traffic lights turn from red to green, the speed of pedestrians, stuff like that. There's also calendar time. Calendar time is the thing you see in the bottom right-hand corner, and, you know, the date goes by, like, really fast. That's used to calculate income, expenses, lifetimes, you know, garbage processing, stuff like that. And here's what's really interesting. An average citizen lives about 6 years of calendar time, okay? An average sim lives 6 years in calendar time. You'll see why in a minute, but when we convert that to real time, that is 2 weeks, 5 days, 8 hours, and 46 minutes. So imagine, like, the world's oldest person. Who's the world's oldest person? Imagine Queen Elizabeth. By the way, again, let's have a moment of silence for Prince Philip. Okay? Now, imagine Queen Elizabeth being, like, 1 year old or 3 weeks old. Like, that's ridiculous. Okay? But on the plus side, if you just had a baby, he would be a toddler in 3 weeks, which would be pretty nice. But basically, if we look here at this playback thing, 1 day on 1x speed takes almost exactly 9 seconds to pass on 1x speed. Remember that. We're going to use that a lot. Now, again, everything I'm about to say is my theory, it's speculation, and that's it. So, 1 day night cycle is 113 days. That's not theory. I actually got that from, I believe it was Reddit or a wiki or something like that. But 1 day night cycle is 113 days, like calendar days. So, 113 calendar days times 9 is 9 real-time seconds per calendar day. That gives us 1017 real seconds per day-night cycle. So each day-night cycle takes 1017 seconds, or 16 minutes and 57 seconds. Now, that means 1017 seconds is supposed to represent 24 hours. Now, if we want to figure out how many seconds there are in 24 hours, so we can compare seconds to seconds, then we do 24 times 60, which will give us minutes, and then we do times 60 again, which will give us seconds, and that comes out to be 86,400 seconds in a day. Okay? So that means 1017 seconds equals 86,400 seconds. You following? Great. Now, 1,000, that means if we want to get to how many seconds are being represented by 1 second of calendar time, we do 86,400 divided by 1017, and we get like 84.99, we'll just call it 85. That's 85 seconds per second. So each second of you sitting there at your computer represents 85 seconds in calendar time, or about a minute and a half. That's like if a Honda Civic could go from 0 to 200 miles an hour in like 5 seconds. Or if it took you, 1.5 seconds to brush your teeth in the morning. Like, that is very, very fast. So if we want to turn this into the amount of time per day, the amount of time represented per calendar day, remember there's 9 seconds in each calendar day. So if we multiply that by 85, because it's 85 seconds per second, that will give us 765 seconds being represented by 1 calendar day in comparison to the day-night cycle. Okay, so each calendar day represents 12 minutes and 45 seconds, or 765 seconds. I know, it's a lot. Now, we're going to work backwards and see if this is actually correct. So, we're going to use the day-night cycle because it's based on simulation time. So, if there's 765 seconds per calendar day, and there's 113 calendar days per day-night cycle, that gives us 765 times 113, which comes out to 86,445 seconds per day-night cycle. Like, each day-night cycle represents 86,445 seconds, which is only 45 seconds off of the actual amount of seconds in a day, which basically means, that's from me rounding a few decimals, okay? That's basically, it is proportional. 113 days is not random. The amount of days in a day-night cycle is actually proportional to simulation time. So simulation time is proportional to calendar time. I find that really neat. Although it's still playing 85 times faster, but that's just so that you don't sit there for 24 hours. You kids get away from your computers, so you don't sit there for 24 hours at your computer just waiting for a day-night cycle. I found that really cool. The fourth and final topic is population. Now, from what I could find, 1 sim is equal to 6 people. That was the most reasonable and most frequent number I could find. So that means if you have 100,000 sims, that's 600,000 people. Now, the max population cap is 1,048,575 sims. If we convert that to real people, we just multiply it by 6, and we get 6,291,450 people. That's about, don't quote me on this, but I think that's about half the population. That's about half the population of New York City. I don't know. For that much land, half the population of New York City? I wonder why. It's because high-rises in city skylines are tremendously underpopulated. You can have a 25-story building with only 26 households, as you see here. And single-family homes are tremendously overpopulated. As you can see here, this single-family home is able to hold 7 households? Excuse me? Yeah, basically, it's really off-kilter, so the realistic population mod can fix this somewhat, although it will create lag. Now, my guess on why they did this with like the high-rises having only 25 households, my guess is lag, because city skylines, when you get to that level of population, it lags a lot. I don't care what computer you have, when you get that high in population, it will lag. and it will be delayed. Basically, they did this so that you don't have... They put a population cap for that reason, and the reason I'm guessing that they put a limit on high-rise households is because they don't want hundreds of Sims coming in and out of buildings and appearing and disappearing like all the time. That would just be way too much work for a CPU to handle, and yeah. Okay, for those of you who have made it this far in the video, first of all, congratulations. Second of all, it is my birthday! Yay, woo! Yes, I am turning 16 today. Well, not today. I'm actually filming this video on April 11th, and it's going live April 14th. So, hope you guys did enjoy the video. This was kind of my birthday present to myself. This video took months to make, so if you could hit the like button, it really would be appreciated. And if you want to give me a birthday present, maybe, you know, hit the subscribe button down below and wish me happy birthday in the comments so I get more engagement on my videos. What's that? Why am I wearing a suit? Well, the reason I'm wearing a suit is, you see, this is the first time I've done face cam in a while, and I want to look professional. Obviously, that's BS. I wore a suit so you guys would be attracted to the video because you're like, whoa, that's weird. So that's why I did it, so you guys would stay longer for the video and I'd get more watch time and my channel would grow more. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the like button down below. Consider subscribing for more content like this, or hopefully better than this. And without further ado, I will see you dudes next time.